David. Hi, David.
Morning, Jeff.
Can you see
Or-
me?
Afternoon.
There we go. How are you?
I'm good. And you?
Good. Doing well.
Hi, Dave.
Any problems with the storm up there?
Yeah, we've had a storm up
David.
here.
I said, did you have any problems with it?
Oh, no, we didn't have any really at all.
That's good.
Dave, how are you doing?
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Dave.
Good. Good. I'm all shoveled out.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I think I have like a 4-foot drift on my patio in the backyard. But I think I'll let Mother Nature take care of that.
Absolutely. Are
Yeah.
you actually shoveling, Dave?
No, I would not be shoveling.
Good. I'm glad to
Now you
hear
sound
that.
like-
I was going to
sound like-
say,
Yeah. You sound like one of my cardiologists.
well, I probably sound like one of my cardiologists.
No. No, I pay a guy with a snowblower to come over.
Yeah, I have a great guy who does my lawn and also shovels.
Yeah. Yep. But I read a great book while I was snowed in.
Oh yeah, what'd you read?
It's by Mark Epstein. I think he's a clinical psychoanalyst,
Oh,
Harvard graduate. Anyway, name of it is called the Zen. What's the name? Now I'm going to forget it. The Zen of. It's up there somewhere.
I'm familiar with the issue.
For crying out loud. Let me see. I'll look it up on my Kindle. No, it's
Zen
Zen
of
of
therapy?
therapy. There you go. Thank you.
What is
I
it?
just looked it up for you while we were chatting.
Yeah, you beat me to it.
What is it?
The Zen of therapy. Let's see. Zen of therapy, the uncovering of life's kindness.
Huh.
Huh.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
it's a fairly easy read, well written, and for those who practice, I mean, there's quite a bit of information that you already know, but it's always good to hear it from somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi,
Oh,
David.
there's Joyce.
Joyce.
Hi, Joyce. You shoveled out?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he came on Sunday and did it.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if Joyce was.
Oh, I don't know. Yes, she must be because she went to the beach yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
Margarita's on the beach.
yeah, margaritas at the beach. It was really cold. My intention was to walk down to the beach, and then Keith said, that's not a good idea. Let's wait till they come. So they came late in the day. We both actually fell and got stuck in the snow. And it was just so funny because I felt I got into a snowdrift that was like up just above my thighs, and I couldn't get traction, and he came to rescue me and he got stuck, and it was just, we just laughed, and then we couldn't help each other because we were laughing. Anyway.
Well, but fun.
Yes. So I said, I guess he's right, wait till they plow.
Mm.
And yes, we are. They're shoveled and plowed, and that was some snow.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, based on what we've had in the past, it wasn't all that bad.
No, not bad.
We didn't lose power. So that I hate losing power, so we didn't lose power. I
No.
was okay. And,
Hi, Bill.
Hi, David. Hello, everybody.
Bill,
Hello,
Bye.
Bill.
so is everybody home? Everybody staying home and zooming you in, David?
I think so. I haven't heard anything from Carol, but
Oh, I haven't. Well, in the middle of the storm, I heard from Carol, but I haven't heard from her since.
no. She's not here yet. Obviously. Either place.
That is unusual for Carol.
Yes, it is.
Carol's, the old school principal in Carol.
Yeah.
If I ever need to know if there's a class or the end of class or this or that, Carol knows. She's really good about really specific things.
Well, we'll give her a couple of minutes here and then we'll proceed.
And is she out of power? Anybody know?
I have no idea. But guys, you people in the Norwich area usually are in pretty good shape.
Yeah, they have their own electrical company.
Yeah. But hey.
Very nice feature, I must say. Appreciate about where I live. We have our own utility company.
Are you shoveled out, Bill?
Yes. Yes, finally.
Good.
We don't go anywhere anyway, though.
Actually, Jane just left to go to the store, so.
From what I can see in terms of roads around here, the roads are fine.
Yeah. I think once you get probably off of Tater Hill, it's okay out here.
Parkville, Taterville, that bit down there, woo.
It can be fun.
Yeah,
Well,
Mitchell might be a little tough.
I wouldn't even try Mitchell today. Did you have any snow, Jeff?
well, we had some weather down here. It got down to 32 degrees.
Whoa.
It's like the lowest that I've ever seen since I moved down here at the end of 2014. But since I moved here, and for you guys who don't know, I'm in the Orlando area.
Yeah,
I've literally never seen snow here since I moved down. So, as you guys are talking about this storm, I'm just remembering all the bad memories I do have of losing, because I lived in East Haddam and Colchester for a long time and, lived in Connecticut all my life before I moved down here. So I experienced everything and I didn't want to say anything, but I don't miss it at all. I'm very happy. I'm very happy that 32 degrees is the worst thing I have to deal with.
Well,
And no snow. No
I'm
snow.
glad that you like Florida, Jeff, because
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Well, I had enough of the snow and the weather, and it was really the losing electricity constantly that finally pushed me over the edge. It seemed like every storm that we had up there when I was living in East Haddam, I'd
Yeah.
lose power anywhere from a couple hours to a week, and it was just
Yeah.
really difficult to deal with because at the time I had a house full of ferrets, and I had to figure out ways to keep them warm, and it just got to be difficult. So
I would think so. Yeah.
yeah. But
Hi, Carol.
Hi, David.
We're glad you could join us.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
So let us begin.
A little cold.
All right. So anyone arrive with a question? Or a report? How's your head doing? Getting it into a good position?
David, the head thing that you showed us last week completely took care of the vertigo that I was experiencing that I reported the week before. So that's where the blockage was, or?
Yep,
Ah, okay. Okay.
cool.
So thank you. That took,
That's a good one.
yeah.
What else? Who else?
We're on record, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Okay. That was my one question.
Okay. So do you find your head in a good position, Dave?
Yeah, actually, that was something I think that you had taught before, and Rick Barrett definitely, especially putting the chin in. I find that by keeping the chin in, my skull automatically will go, to the right position.
Right. Good. Bill or Jeff?
Well, honestly, my head and neck are something that I focus on a lot because I have some neck issues. So I have to always be mindful of how I'm carrying it and how I'm sitting. And so I do that a lot. But the last class, what you went over, pointed out a couple of other things that were helpful, including when we ran our hands around the back here, finding that spot, and things that I hadn't thought about that, we've done in the past, but I totally forgot about. So it was definitely very helpful for me as well.
Good.
Well, I haven't done too much. I've been out of sorts for a little over a week, and I did try, but I apparently need a lot of practice, which I haven't been putting in.
Well, we can look at that tomorrow.
All right.
Joyce, I know you found it helpful.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Yes, very helpful. I found what you said, with Jeff, you've said it before, but it was a reminder. And it helped to have that focus back on it, on my neck and on my head and all that. Definitely helpful.
Good. So I'm going to continue reviewing or teaching, whichever it may be for you, some things about alignments. Because I think that they are particularly important. And as some of you have indicated, sometimes they slip away. So I want to look at knees today, which is another really important one, but also one that we sometimes don't put enough focus on. So, of course, one of the things is if you're going to have your chi moving down your body, you don't want your legs to block it. And for instance, you don't want your knees collapsing in and closing off the perineum, which will block the chi flow. Then you need to understand a little bit about what will destroy your knee on a regular basis. As I have said in some classes in the past, 30 pounds of pressure will break a knee. And if a person allows their knee to bend in and gets that 30-pound kick, the knee's broken. So how much do you weigh from your knee up to the top of your head? That weight is causing a vector to go down your body. And it hits a place that is not, if it hits a place that is not structurally positioned to have the weight pass through it, then there's only one thing your body can do. That part of your body has to take the weight. And if you have a bad knee, that means that effectively you just hit yourself in the knee. And this now becomes a question of how many millions of times will you do that over the course of a couple of weeks, a year, or 10 years, whatever it is. That's how a lot of body problems cause cumulative damage. And some of it is just as simple as if the pressure moves smoothly through your body, your joints don't take the pressure. And the thing about the knee is, it is not designed to bear weight. It really isn't. For its size, it is the weakest joint in your body, and it has and we don't want it to try to bear weight. Your knee is designed to transfer weight through a series of ligaments so that the weight goes down to your foot. And it is your feet that actually take the weight. Now, ligaments bounce. Ligaments have no problem bouncing from morning to night, if you like. They are not, if they're not bent or injured in some way. So the trick is to use the spring in the ligaments in your knee to avoid knee problems, or actually have any knee problems you have be repaired. This is very basic to everything in Tai Chi. And Tai Chi heals knees wonderfully. So the second reason things will block in your knees, simply because of some of the energetic acupuncture points around your knee are jammed up. But the whole thing about that is, if you keep on sinking chi through your legs, it clears up those acupuncture points. But now we have another issue. You actually don't want to use your knees to go down and up. You want your knees to be moved by your psoas muscle. And as opposed to the opposite. This is similar to pool. You have a pool cue and a ball, and the ball doesn't come back and move the cue stick. The cue stick moves the ball. So the psoas should be the center that originates the action. And the next question is, by moving the psoas, letting it bend a little bit, how do you get the position so that any motion going up and down will cause a direct pressure to go to your foot? So we want to get the pressure of the movement that you're doing to move through the knee, to pass through it without causing any discomfort or any sense of pressure, and to go straight to the feet. So you don't actually have any feeling of bending from your knees. What you have is a feeling of going down from the quad and pressure increasing in the sole of your foot. Eventually, this is going to enable you to use that pressure you're feeling in the bottom of your foot to get your chi to actually go down to your feet and into the earth. And now we go for another thing. The knee is never supposed to bear weight. So as soon as you move your knee too far forward, you now have the entire weight of your body on your knees. And this is a big reason why often people who ski a lot develop knee problems. So, stand up. And just take a moment to find your basic position. You know, kind of basic alignments of the width of your feet. And getting a sense of the weight centered into the middle of your foot, each foot. Letting the body soften and release. And with the head, both aligning correctly and lifting off the top of your spine. And then beginning to just feel the sinking through your body. Trying to feel the pressure sinking from your knees to the middle of your foot. This is going to mean that if you're a little bit forward, your weight is on the ball of your foot, and if you are too far back, it's going to be on your heel. And what we're trying to do is to get to where all of a sudden you're in the middle of your foot. And you just feel the weight dropping through to that point. And as you feel that, then you should be able to find the 3-year-old bounce of your ligaments. So just as you stand there, see if you can simply allow yourself to bounce a little bit. Feeling the bounce of the ligaments, not jamming into the knee or the feet, but really should be a bounce. And I know you can't see my whole body, but this is a very easy, relaxed, everything is moving, but there's no wobbling or falling around. It's dropping right into the middle of your foot. No sense of instability. Now, you probably should feel something in your quad, but not in your knee. So this is the first step, really getting a sense of the pressure of your weight falling through the body, aware of the quad, aware of the feet, but no pressure in the knee. And part of this is that, of course, you should be in your basic structure, which means your knees are very slightly bent. Make sure that you've done that, because only then can you begin to feel the back of your knee. So the back of your knee will basically be over the center of your foot. When you find that, you now have nothing that intrinsically will cause weight to jam up into whatever weak spot you have in your knee, which is not to say your knees are going to feel absolutely perfect at this point, because if those points in your knee are blocked at all, then until they get unblocked, they're still going to feel bad. But remember that as you begin to get your energy to move through your knee, those will be released. And you'll not be making additional structural damage to your knee. So the simple point is that one of the biggest things about healing knee injuries is not to continuously re-injure your knee. This is what you're trying to avoid. And the other big thing is going to be that when you sync your chi, you are making a clear pathway so that the downward flowing energy is going to open up the chi in your legs. So now the next thing, I don't know, you're going to have to probably get something here. I want you to get a chair or a stool, something that will move, and you're going to put it in front of you. And you're going to go into your basic position that we've just been working on. But at the same time, as you find that position, you're going to just very gently touch your legs or your knees to that chair. And what you're wanting to do now is maintain your structure through the whole body, but begin to allow yourself to sink down a little bit without pushing the knees forward. And you probably will bend a little bit. You don't have to go very far down, but endeavor to keep the structure that you've established. So what this is beginning to show you is where you need to keep your knee, so that when you do actually sink in whatever you're doing, certainly we have some sinking and rising in our Tai Chi in this particular form, but you don't want the knees to go too far forward, because that immediately brings pressure into the knee. So you're finding, where is that point that I can go to? And as you know, that will show up, for instance, in when we go into push downward. So we have to maintain that knee position. And remembering that in the rear foot, the knee can be allowed to be slightly forward. But it's in the rear foot, we have to, in the forward foot, we have to make sure that it does not go beyond that ideal position. One of the things as you're sinking and rising here is to keep the tailbone, your sacrum, pointing straight down to the earth. So you don't want to let it tilt backwards or forwards at the moment. And your qua, of course, is where the psoas muscle is, although it also wraps around the spine. But it's right in the middle of that inguinal crease. And so as you are sinking and rising, you're thinking of moving from this point, not from your knees. In other words, your knees are not powering this movement. You have the feeling of that muscle in the quad and the energy sinking and rising into the feet and from the feet. So when you do this and you're standing or doing a Qigong movement or you're doing a Tai Chi movement, you're going to use the sinking to get your Qi to go from your body through your knee down to the earth. Remember, it is that sinking of the Qi that's going to open up the acupuncture points inside your body. Make sure you're keeping your perineum open so that you have the sense of the body lifting from the perineum, not from the shoulders or chest. Energetically, your energy wants to go down to your feet on the way down, and then wants to start from your feet and move up your legs to the bottom of your pelvis and then all the way up to the top of your head. And as I said, it's important that your knees do not move either forward or back. Because if when you come up, you straighten your knees, you're still putting all the pressure inside your knee. The only difference is instead of from top down, you're doing it from bottom up. So it doesn't really much matter which way you're doing that to yourself. You don't want to do something that has a good chance of doing harm to you. You want to do something that is good for you. And the object is to benefit you, not destroy you. So relax. Anybody have a question in there?
David, when you're coming down and the quad is bending in, is the weight moving from the middle of your feet to the heel?
No.
Or should it? Okay. So
So
all
that
right, I
will
have-
limit how far down you go.
yeah. So what do you mean? If you go down too far, you go to your heel?
Well, let yourself bend forward a little, and that will help you maintain the center.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, this is remember, this is an exercise. This is not necessarily what we're going to do in our movements themselves. So anyone else have a question here? Okay. So I want to think about this, and I'm going to go into the walk. Obviously, when you're doing the standing practice that we usually do at the beginning, you want to really make sure that you follow these principles, and when you're sinking and rising in that you don't push the knees too far forward or straighten your legs fully, either one. But when we go into the walk, So to begin with, you want to make sure that you have enough width in your bow stance, which allows you to establish the position of your knee in relation to the rest of the leg. And you want to make sure that in that position, you're not feeling any strain in either knee, either the forward knee or the rear knee. In both cases, in terms of pressure, it should be passing through the back of the knee. So the forward knee is slightly bent. The rear knee is mostly straight. But then as you do one and you shift back, that changes. And when you do that, you need to make sure that that rear knee is not pushing too far out, because once you go into it being the weighted leg, that knee must not be too far forward, and you should be able to drop the weight through the middle of the foot at this point. And stay there as you go to 2, turning. And then on 3, you're rotating that right leg with the body, and the left knee maintains where it is. It does not change, and it does not have pressure or discomfort in it. And then 4, you're going to your dynamic limit. So the knee is ideally just slightly forward of vertically above the ankle, which should be a position in which there should not be any discomfort in the knee, and you should have clearly pressure passing through the knee. And then on 5A, you're shifting the weight forward. And here's where it becomes really important, because our tendency often is to move from the upper body, and then we get the knee too far forward. So if you move from the dantian and the qua, the knee doesn't really go all that far forward as you bring your weight onto that foot. The knee doesn't extend beyond the toe. And it stays there as you do 5B. Good, David. And you rotate. And it stays there as you rotate and step in 6. And then as you shift your weight forward, again coming to your dynamic limit, but now on the left leg, and then you relax the qua and rotate forward. And that left knee should not change position. And there shouldn't be any discomfort in either knee. So sometimes you get that rear leg in not an ideal position, and it's just reminding you that you have to be sure about placing it where it is appropriate so that the knee is not impacted at all. Also, in all of this, you have to be careful that you don't allow the knees to drop in, which closes off the perineum and takes the knee out of its appropriate alignment and immediately brings stress into the knee. So keeping the perineum open is part of helping to keep the knee in its appropriate position. So anybody have a question about that? So just go through the walk a couple of times. So Jeff, I might just say that you tended to put your left knee too far forward. Your right was okay. So just be a little careful about not pushing the knee too far forward as you go into your dynamic limit.
Okay.
Relax, Dave. So remember that, Dave, that you want to rotate the body a little on 6. It is not just put the leg out. Okay. So Carol, you're also just putting that leg forward when you step out. You're not using the body to move it. And it should be an empty step. Yeah, like that. Good. Bill, you're making headway on that. That's looking better. You seemed more stable. Good. Just do the walk, Joyce. Keep it simple. Mhm. Joyce, that's quite good. You're beginning to get a nice turn on 6. Just be careful that you don't turn back on 7. 7 continues forward. Yeah. Okay, anybody have a question here?
I don't have a question, but I have a quick comment. That, doing that and conceptualizing of it not coming from the knees, but from the quad, it's like a whole new experience of feeling in my feet. And
Well,
it comes and it's not, it comes and it goes. I mean, I would get it for a couple steps and I'd go, wow, that feels really different. So,
oh, good.
thank you.
Don't overthink it. Just do it.
All right, thank you, David.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Okay. So as you know, the body movement remains just the same in the single arm practice, but now you have the distraction of the arms moving. But remember that the arms are moving from the body. They are not the leader. They're the followers. So go into the single arm movement, but now really try to keep your awareness focused on keeping the knee in the appropriate position and not stressed in any way and without any pressure. Okay, relax. So what did you find in relation to the knees in doing that?
But I need to learn a whole new coordination. That's good.
Well, it's all part of this, yes. Did anyone discover specific problems with the knees now when you had the more complex movement?
No, I found it was a lot easier, more stability going through 5A and 5B.
Yeah,
When you've got the knee set, the forward knee set, and and not moving it.
right.
Yeah, it's a
Good.
lot easier to keep your balance through 5A and 5B.
Good, good.
David, I found that by concentrating on having the body do the movement of both the legs and the arms, it was easier to coordinate because I'm not concentrating so much on parts doing motions.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Good.
David, how do you lift your arm without moving it?
How do you,
You know, to get, I mean, I don't have any
you move
trouble
it,
with
you
this.
move it with the body. So, yes, if you were, wait a minute, let me change this so you can see me. So, yes, if you're here and you just do this, you had to lift your arm. That's the only thing you could do because your body didn't move. But if you connect your arm into your body and use the movement of your body to move the arm, then it's actually fairly easy when you get the connection. You know, but this is something we'll come to a little bit later, but I'll just throw it out because it is definitely related to this. And that is learning to get a sense, and you can do it first, just do it with one arm, getting a sense of pushing energy down with your arm. And if you can get the sense that your arm is pushing the energy through your body, that's even better. And when you begin to get a real sense that you can push the energy, and you should be able to do it with either arm. So you could do this practice almost anywhere, anytime. But then if you make the connection through your body, so in other words, rounding your back and lifting the elbows a little so that you make the connection between arms, you can cause one arm to lift the other. So I'm not doing this lifting of my left arm just with the muscles. I'm actually pushing it from the other arm. And you can reverse that and cause the other arm to push the other arm up. You have to find that connection between the two arms, that energetic connection. And this may be a little advanced for where you are at the moment, or it may not be, but that would be a way to play with it, because it is that connection, which is why I say to you, sometimes when you're doing this, that, oh yeah, you've got nice movement here, but that other arm is dead. Nothing's happening here. You have to have the connection, energetic connection between the arms, as well as everything else that we're trying to do. But there has to be that connection, because that's what causes ultimately the changes in what seems like a practically still an empty arm. It's not. This movement is bending this arm, and then it's extending the other arm, and then it's bending it, and then it's extending it. So the thing you have to hold on to is that it's, well, I'm talking here about the connection between the arms. It's coming from the dantian or the spine. So it's not simply just the arms. But this is another stage, perhaps, but that is how the movement of the body actually moves the arms. Did that make some sense, Bill?
Yeah, it did.
You won't necessarily get it right away, but if you work on that, believe me, you will find that connection. It is there. So anybody have a question about the form, the Tai Chi form? You've all got it perfectly.
We didn't say that.
Wait a minute. A review from the end, like the last two movements, from just before elbow and into thunder. You with me? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yes.
I'm missing something, or possibly lots of somethings in there.
Okay. Sure. Let's see. Oh, what am I doing? So what we've done, sorry, I'm just going to change the camera here. I didn't realize I'm not. That's better. So we just completed a needle. So you're down at lower than base level. And the tricky part of this next movement into elbow is that as you rise to your base level on your right leg, because your left is empty, your left is able to kick it here. But as you're rising on that right, you have to turn right. So you come up and turn, and it's that rise and turn that position the elbow and the palm. And I'm going to turn this so you can see me from the front here. So you're here, and that rise and turn not only places the left leg to the corner, but positions the right arm, the left arm, with the elbow out and the fist formed, and the right palm a couple of inches from the fist. It's not touching yet at this point, but you're in position and you're beginning to send energy from the right palm into the left fist, into the left elbow, actually. And then as you shift forward, the only thing that moves here is the right arm folds in and touches the elbow just as you arrive at your dynamic limit, which ideally is the moment of the strike of the elbow. One of the other things to be really careful of here is that in that right arm that you're keeping the elbow down, but don't close off the armpit. Keep the armpit open. Touch. And then going into Jeanne Thunder or into split, lié, single whip, you're going to shift onto that left foot. And as you do that, the two arms begin to separate and relax. But notice that as I do that, there is no rotation because I'm not rotating. I'm shifting to 100%. And then I'm rotating. And that rotation to the left actually turns the arms so that you're ready to go into the next step. So you do 6, stepping forward. And then as you rotate and shift through 7 and 8, the arms are rotating and expanding out. And notice that your elbows aren't out, nor are they pushed clear down, but they are downward as you go into this. Okay? So if you go back to the end of needle at C bottom, you're down below base level. You rise, turning right, step, shift forward, elbow strike, continue on to the left, rotate in, step forward, rotating the arms, rotate and shift, and just rotate to complete. And then rotate and shift back, bringing you back into position to begin ward off right. Did that answer your questions there?
Yes, a lot of them, except for one thing, when you step out of needle at C bottom, in which direction is that left foot going to point?
It's pointing towards the left corner.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Other questions? Anyone? Okay,
A different section?
sure.
Yeah, if you could go over the weight shift and all with press, the shifting and rotating in press.
Press forward.
Yep.
Okay, I can do that. So in push downward, we've gone to the right corner. And then you shift forward again, rotate in, and that shift, I might say that as you shift, the arms are bending in, and then on the rotation to the corner, they rotate in to embrace the moon. And then as you step to the left corner, that's what positions the arms. And that's an empty step. It's not a loaded step. And then you shift forward and you rotate to the left to complete that posture. And if you, while Master Joe didn't build this into this originally, there is no reason why you can't do a twist step there if you find that you are twisting your knee or any other part of your structure in going into that. So a twist step would certainly be perfectly all right there.
Okay. And that left foot is to the corner.
Yes,
Okay,
which is why you might need a twist step,
right. Okay,
because your feet are basically at right angles. And the difficulty with the step there out of push downward is that you have to rotate and step. Actually, that left leg has to go back a bit, or if you don't, you're going to end up trying to go into being on a tightrope here and twisting that right knee. Whereas if you get that left foot to go back as well as out to the corner, then when you turn, you won't find as much stress on the knee. And the twist step is certainly perfectly appropriate there.
so
That-
when we're starting this,
I'm sorry?
when we finish push, I think I was doing push straight ahead. It looks like you're doing it more to the corner.
Yes, absolutely.
That was part of my problem. Okay, all right.
If it was straight ahead, it would be easier, but no, it's not.
Hmm.
So absolutely, when you complete rollback, that turn of 3, which is what that is there,
Right.
you're turning the leg to the corner. So here, and then the push downward, shift, step. And the tricky part there is that on that turn, you have to position the arm so they continue to fold in and twist in order to be ready to twist out.
Okay,
Okay,
yep, thanks.
sure. Anyone else have a postural question here? Not that you want to admit to. Okay. Then let's just flow a bit with the form. And get a chance to do a bit of that together. So begin with your feet comfortably together. Don't shortcut the beginning. And actually, it's kind of important if you have the time, to allow yourself to stand before you begin to move. Just be aware of your structure. And even at this point of sinking your chi through your body, stabilizing your breath and your alignments. And then when your yang energy says to move, beginning, stepping out, and continuing right into the movement. Don't pause. No pause. Step, sink, rise into ward off right, expand out, and then roll back, absorb, turn, push downward twice. Shift forward, step, shift, press down, step in and forward, rotate the shoulder, shift, step the right foot in, pull the energy down, up, down through needle at C bottom. Rise, turning right, step empty to the corner, shift into elbow, shift, rotate through, single whip, rotate right and then left, shifting back, and begin. Ward off right. Roll back. On, push downward. G, press forward. Cow, shoulder strike. Plie, pull down. Needle. Step, shift, jo, elbow strike. And plie, split, single whip. Good. So any questions? So when you're practicing the form, also take some time to focus on your knee position there. Making sure that you don't push the knee too far forward, collapse in, straighten too much. Nothing to think about. So, any last minute thoughts or questions?
No?
Yes. As we repeat the form, should we be moving in a more or less straight line? And if we're not, would that be an indication that our stride was different on one side or the other?
No, it does shift on an angle as you keep repeating.
Okay. Thank you. David, this was great. I loved it. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you. Other questions? Okay. Great to see you. Thank you. Practice, practice, practice.
Thank you, David.
Good,
Thank you, Carol. Good to see you.
Same here, David.
Thanks, David.
Yep, Dave, take care. Everybody stay well.
Yeah,
Okay,
nice
take
seeing
care.
everybody. Stay safe and well.
Thank you all.
Take care, everybody.
Okay. Any questions, Jeff?
No, no, it's just it- good awareness about the knees today. I was definitely exceeding my limit a lot. So I was focusing on that in all the practice that we were doing, and I'll continue to work with that moving forward. So
Yeah,
that's a
that's,
good thing.
it's a particularly important point.
Yeah,
Because so many people do have knee issues
right,
that they don't need to have.
right. I've been very lucky never to have major knee issues, but I do know that, you know, all the years I've been doing Tai Chi, I've always gone too far because I've always tried to do larger strides and longer steps and stances, and I always just out of habit exceed my dynamic limits. So now that I'm not such a young pup anymore, I need to definitely make a much more conscious effort not to do that because I don't want to have knee issues at this point in my life because that would be a big problem.
No,
So
you
this
don't
was-
need that, believe me.
This was, I know, I do believe you. You've been there, I know. So this was very good timing. And, you know, I think this and the neck structure, neck and head structure we talked about last time, this is a good series of things that you're working in. Definitely
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah, there will be more.
Yeah, I'm sure. I expect more, and that's great.
Yeah,
So
good.
everything else is okay though. So
Well, good. How's the boy?
Jesse is doing great. He's
Good.
yeah, he's going to school, preschool 3 days a week.
Uh-huh, good.
Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for an actual school length day. You know, I drop him off at 8:30 and I pick him up at between 3:15 and 3:30, and he's really doing great. It's not just daycare. They actually have some curriculum, and they have, you know, it's a regular scheduled day where they have all kinds of different slots for all different kinds of skills, and, you know, including physical ed and recreation and play and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
great. And